Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like in
And
college,
I inhale. I did inhale.
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
Ha ha ha. Hilarious how someone could ruin thousands of people's lives for something that they do themselves, and then they later laugh about this. What is that called? Politics. Yes, that's politics. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Ukradowski of WeAreChange.org, and of course, we got a very important update about the 2020 selection. As a 77-year-old man who has a hard time understanding where he is, read off a script and selected a former cop and prosecutor to be his running mate for the 2020 selection. A very interesting choice that we're going to be going over here, but also potentially a choice that I'm going to share why I think may actually help Biden. We're going to get into that, plus all the latest news, as well as a very interesting development surrounding Ghislaine Maxwell. All of that, plus more on this independent media channel that, of course, is heavily censored, shadow banned, and now 100% demonetized. And because of that, we have to make partnerships with businesses that we like and trust, and one that I personally use for my online experience is VPN City. So if you're interested in unlocking geo-restricted content, whether a government is blocking something in your country, or some military-grade encryption with an extra layer of security, well, VPN City is for you. It's very affordable, it's very easy to use, I like them a lot, and if you use our specific referral link, your purchase also goes towards supporting this independent media broadcast. Check them out. They have a lot of good ratings. The link will be down in the description below. Now, obviously, moments ago, we got bombshell news with this latest announcement by Joe Biden. Some people, like Hillary Clinton and the Soroses, are very happy, while mainly a large portion of the public is kind of left scratching their head asking, what? As this is an honestly very perplexing pick by Joe Biden, but we're going to explain in a little bit why it potentially may work in his favor. But before we do that, we do have to acknowledge the meme Lord gods have been very bountiful and generous to us, as of course this announcement is being met by wide-scaled ridicule, as now a rich old guy and a cop are on the Democratic ticket for 2020. And I do have to say, these memes are especially funny, mainly because they are based off the truth. I mean, when we look at Kamala Harris's past, you get a very disturbing, horrible, horrendous example of government overreach and abuse on scales that I'm even shocked at. Now, a lot of people are calling this decision tone deaf for many reasons, especially in the year of George Floyd, as pointed out by USA Today. But just looking at Kamala Harris's record here, she opposed investigations where police officers killed people. She fiercely fought against those. She also publicly opposed a bill to investigate deadly police shootings. She promoted and pushed for legislation that would arrest parents of children who skipped school. She opposed DNA tests in court proceedings that could have exonerated many of the poor souls that Kamala Harris was prosecuting over. Many times she hid evidence in court proceedings in order to get a prosecution victory. She fought back against wrongful convictions, and during her tenure, locked up 1,974 people for marijuana. And because of her heavy-handed approach as the top cop in California, she sent away many innocent people to jail that were not guilty, that later had to be compensated by the city for the wrongful convictions from an overzealous, aggressive prosecutor that many judges had to shame in court proceedings. Yes, even judges called out and ridiculed the over-aggressive policing by Kamala Harris that led to a lot of human suffering, including the which of many innocent people that didn't commit a crime. There's even this bombshell interview that was released by Joe Rogan last week with his interview with an organization that fights for people who were wrongly convicted, and it is an eye-opening perspective into Kamala Harris that truly paints her as an evil monster that would do anything for conviction and a victory in court, no matter what the circumstances or larger ramifications from. She is the true epitome of a statist that would do anything to get ahead, literal and figuratively. And now, in the year of massive anti-police protests, the Democratic Party picks her to be as the vice president here? Now, obviously, that's the rational reaction that many people should have here. She's a horrible human being. She caused a lot of human suffering. But also, we have to consider, in midst of the riots, many political commentators are talking about how a lot of the civil unrest happening in inner cities is pushing a lot of people to go towards the kind of law and order side of the political spectrum. And that, of course, is the right-wing side. This is why we could see Donald Trump trying to capitalize on this by constantly tweet law and order all the time, nonstop, and figuratively not really do much about it. But this VP pick might be a strategy by Biden in order to circumvent a lot of the people who are sick of the civil unrest that's been happening all throughout inner cities in the United States, and get some of the people that are more in the middle, more in the moderate side, since of course we are seeing a big hyperbolic expansion of popularity from people on the far left and the far right. More and more people are being pushed further in the political spectrum, and this could be an attempt by Joe Biden trying to capitalize on some of the few moderates that haven't made up their mind, but may be an important factor that could shift the 2020 presidential elections. And when you look at some of the preliminary polls out there, a lot of people don't go along with the very far left kind of radical ideas that are being promoted by the mainstream media. So this could be potentially a strategic approach by Joe Biden, but again, this is my theory, and I shouldn't say Joe Biden. I mean, the poor man was literally reading off a script as during his announcement. He, of course, has handlers. He, of course, has special interest, and he's known as the candidate that will say anything in a time to get popular support. He, of course, is the establishment candidate that has been in politics for many decades, has been a major proponent of the prison industrial complex, and of course you should see him, as most politicians, as just an empty suit for special interests. Which is exactly what Kamala Harris is, as, of course, she's even trying to spin her record as a prosecutor as, quote, progressive. Yes, because nothing says progressive like arresting parents because their kid skipped school. Again, she will do and say anything to get ahead. She viciously smeared Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, that has been exonerated on many of the exaggerated charges that Kamala Harris accused him of. She also, when it was politically convenient, went after Joe Biden, saying that she believed his accusers. And Joe Biden's accusers said a lot of very awful things about him. Whether true or not, they were very serious accusations that Kamala Harris ran with. And now, knowingly, she is with someone that she believes abuses women. But it doesn't matter for Kamala Harris, that also, of course, supported Jussie Smollett after he tried to hoax the entire nation into another divide and conquer race event that was totally fabricated, which she lent out her support for him and still hasn't recanted, still hasn't corrected her position on another divide and conquer race hoax that, of course, she was promoting as real. And when we look at other individuals in this political spectrum, especially individuals like Talcum X, Sean King here, who previously said that he is 99% sure he won't be supporting specifically Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 2018 because they, quote, both helped build and advanced mass incarceration, who now, 2 years later, is saying that this is incredible, he is proud, and that it's brilliant to see Kamala Harris and Joe Biden running for the 2020 presidential election, and that they are, quote, the most progressive VP nomination in American history. Now, of course, Kamala Harris is trying to distance herself from her very aggressive pit bull-like claws of injustice that she hurt thousands of peoples with. But we have to understand, again, just like most politicians, she is an empty suit that's supported by special powers. They read off a script, literally and figuratively. They will tell you anything so you like them, lying through their teeth so you could support the corrupt system that they are part of. Speaking about a corrupt system, we also have the latest updates about the Jeffrey Epstein saga. You know, the saga where government officials aided and abetted in a child trafficking and abuse ring scene with many powerful people, including politicians in the Western world. Yeah, that case where government officials for 30 years ran an operation that hurt thousands of children in ways that they could never heal from. That one? Well, now we're finding out that Epstein's pimp, Ghislaine Maxwell, has been taken off suicide watch and is now demanding to be moved out of solitary confinement. She still is subjected to daily searches, constant surveillance, which, as we know from the Jeffrey Epstein case, is needed here, since, of course, she is also in a very corrupt prison known for abusing its prisoners. We still have a very long time, 11 months to go, until her court proceedings begin. Allegedly, there is critical new information that might be released. This, of course, is something that we are following very closely. Again, this whole entire case is still shrouded in mystery. We only have some information related to us by the victims that are still alive and brave enough to speak out. Ones that are coming forward every single day, including a new woman that says that she was recruited at the age of 13 and was abused by Epstein and other very powerful people. Lots of very horrible details here, including how Epstein and other powerful people, quote, got off on people's terror. And when you look at adrenochrome, sociopathic satanic elites, that makes perfect total sense here. Again, Ghislaine Maxwell being taken off suicide watch is not a good thing. If you remember, Jeffrey Epstein was also taken off suicide watch after just allegedly trying to attempt suicide the first time, and then he was taken off suicide watch and then committed suicide according to the official story, which is nonsense. Again, lots of disinformation, lots of crap that needs to be exposed, that needs to be disinfected, that needs a light on it. And the only people that will do that is independent alternative media. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. If you weren't sharing these videos, I would not exist. Getting these videos out is more important than ever, especially with all the opposition that we're facing for simply reporting on the stuff that people should know about. If you agree, get this video out there. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.